All right, welcome back. It's another trial by social media that's looking like it's turning out to be completely wrong. A pregnant New York City nurse is striking back after getting smeared all over the internet as a racist Karen. It's over a viral video showing her calling for help while a group of black teens are accusing her of stealing their rental bike.
Go, record him, record him.
Help! Help me! Please help me!
It's not your bike.
Please help me!
It's not your bike. It's not your bike.
Please help me! Help! Please get off me!
Hey, what the what's going on, bro?
Please get off me!
Yo, don't let him take it, bro.
Now you're not getting the bike, bro.
Yeah, now you're not getting the bike, bro.
Help!
You're not getting
Get
the
off
bike.
me,
I'm
dude.
not. No,
Why you took his phone? What's wrong with you?
What is something? You're not
Don't touch
touching
his
my
phone.
phone.
Do not touch his phone.
I'm not touching you. You putting your stomach on my head.
My dude, stop. No, my dude, stop. No. I said no. I said sit down.
Please help!
The usual suspects piling on with all sorts of character assassinations. The famed civil rights lawyer Ben Crump saying that this is, quote, exactly the type of behavior that has endangered so many black men in the past. The hospital that employs her calling the video disturbing, and of course they placed her on leave while the review was underway. The nurse is now in hiding, getting death threats, but her lawyer is fighting back with evidence blowing up the entire narrative.
These receipts show that she rented the bike. The serial numbers match. What's at play is what social media did to this woman who is literally a hero and has done nothing but help people, and within 1 minute effectively tries to ruin her life.
But do they allege this is racism?
That's what the media portrays, and that's what it looks like.
But that's what her employer is saying here.
Correct. That's what it looks like. We have no ill will towards these young men. And in fact, we wish them the best. Our focus here is on the media who defamed her.
Okay.
Lawrence, when I watched that video...
Why did you come to me first? Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I came to you first because I want to know what your perspective is on this. When I watched that video, I've had 2 kids. Pregnant women hold a special place in my heart. If I'm on the train and there's a pregnant woman having a bad day, even if she's got an attitude, it's in my nature to back up and just let her have the seat or to let her have the room. I know she's probably going through it. I know that her emotions are high or can be. And I know there's a lot going on there that I don't understand. When you watch that video, do you see that from her, or do you see someone who's hateful and trying to trap someone else?
You know, I don't look at it just from the video, because if you just look at the video, you don't know the facts of what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say anything about this video for that exact reason. And now we're getting other accounts of what actually took place. The attorney alleges that she had already purchased the bike. The allegation that came out originally was that the boys had purchased the bike, and then they would be liable for the bike if she took off with the bike. The attorney says, I have 2 receipts. Bill Hemmer said he looked at those receipts, and it shows 2 purchases for that bike matched up to the serial number. If that is true, what they did to her is asinine. Just so people understand the historical moment that they were comparing this to, they were comparing this to Emmett Till, who was brutally murdered by an allegation of a white woman that he raped her. And it wasn't true. That lady just died. She was 90-some years old. To compare this situation purposely and know that's not the case, I think we have gone down just a crazy, slippery slope in society. I don't know all the facts right here, but if Bill Hemmer said that he looked at both of the receipts, I trust his reporting on this. And this is messed up. I think she should sue them all.
Yeah.
Sue them all.
Katie, he said if what they're reporting is true, if these receipts match up, if I watch that video and don't add any other context as to what so-and-so said, the receipts or the other thing, what I see are, at its very best, 2 people having a legitimate argument over who paid for the bike first.
Right.
Why is it that we're in a society where that's what it goes to?
Well, because people like Ben Crump want to inject race into situations so they can profit and benefit off of it when it doesn't exist. And the fact that people like Ben Crump and the people on Twitter and their allies in the media ran with that narrative that she was somehow racist for having this altercation, and that she was the one who was stealing from black men and putting them into a position of harm. And that's why black men in America have had a hard time. It is blood boiling. It is not true. She's 6 months pregnant. To add on to all of that, and the idea that they injected race where it doesn't belong doesn't hurt the cause. it doesn't help the cause for equality and for understanding. It only helps the pocketbooks for Ben Crump. And I hope that I think she is suing everybody. And I hope that there is some accountability, because it doesn't help the conversation and the environment among Americans when they do this to a situation that has nothing to do with race, but make it all about that. It really is despicable.
Judge, when I see a video that's a minute long or a minute and a half long and everyone's taking a hot take on it, my reaction at this point is to cool the jets and say, what's the rest of the information?
Absolutely.
When someone like Ben Crump, who understands law, comes out and tweets something like that, is he making himself liable? Is he exposed? Are people that made judgments, even the hospital putting her on leave, is there a legal precedent for her to say, I've got the receipts, pay up?
Well, yeah, if she feels that people defamed her as she's a thief, they're alleging that she's a thief, that she stole a bike from people who actually paid for it, she didn't pay for it. Then you've got the issue of, I understand there was a tussle, and I don't know how much, whether there's more of this video or not, where she says, you know, I'm pregnant, and they say things like, you know, stop your fake crying, and, you know, your baby's going to come out this way. I mean, there was some mean things that were said. I don't like it when the race baiters come out. The race baiters who come out looking to make money on something like this, that's the lowest of the low as far as I'm concerned. Now, what they did was they kept fighting her for the bike. She's trying to get on the bike, and then they push the bike back so it's locked in again, as to make it look as though, you know, it really is theirs. They can take it from the start. The bike is worth $1,200. Okay, if they took that from her, I mean, she could be charged $1,200 for a bike that was stolen. But even worse is that I don't like the way they treated this nurse.
Yeah.
Nurses during the pandemic were literally God's angels on earth. And then all of a sudden we said, you know what? You don't get the vaccine, even though you risked your life, you're going to lose your job. And then when we decided that we don't need the vaccine, they didn't hire those nurses that they fired. And I'm really upset with New York City, it's Health and Health Services, for putting her on leave. Why are they putting her on leave? She lost a lot. She should sue.
Jessica, let's, as much benefit of the doubt as humanly possible, say it was a legitimate argument over the bike.
Yep.
Does your mind go straight to race? Is that what you see when you watch this video? Are those legitimate complaints about the video that Ben Crump and people like that have put out there?
It's certainly a valid perspective on it. When you look at it, you can see it's one white person and there are 5 black people, but I certainly didn't go to that. My immediate reaction as someone who was pregnant not too long ago is I would be scared out of my mind. And when they say get your stomach off of me, it's a very uncontrollable period in your life, your body, when you're pregnant. Yeah. And there's a reason pregnant women, when I was pregnant, I sat at the table every day with my hands here. You just instinctually are protecting what it is that you're growing inside of her. So my first thought was that I was scared for her.
Wasn't there a time where we all felt like we should protect what it is that's, as men, and that's why I went to you first, as young men, shouldn't we have it in us to want to protect that vulnerable woman? I mean, shouldn't that be a part of who we are?
Of course, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't a valid disagreement in this and that we shouldn't see how this played out. And it brings up 2 issues that are important to me. One, I really want a moratorium on comparing things to atrocities of the past where it doesn't work. I don't want to hear Emmett Till on its own. I don't want to hear Jim Crow 2.0. I don't want to hear anyone compared to a KKK wizard. Yep. We can find out for new words for these things.
Well, let's hope you speak at the DNC convention.
I am available. I don't know the dates, but definitely do that. Let it play out. And I think that her employer is honestly trying to protect her. What happens then is a lot of people who live nowhere near her, who don't know her, don't know what type of person she is, weighs in on this through social media.
Well, it wasn't just a weigh in. They went to go find her on social media.
You got to go.
They put her on leave calling the video disturbing.
Right. But
after they reached out.
Hey, listen, facts will continue to come.
Great.
All right. Ahead, squatter insanity in America gets worse. Military vets are coming home to find someone else living in their homes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.